All right, Shane. Well, let's kick it on down next to Gainesville, where Dan Mullen and the Gators gearing up for their first scrimmage of training camp here. And man, again, we've been getting questions about this. I didn't really want to share any information until it was confirmed, but projected starting defensive back Jaydon Hill out for the season with an ACL injury, and those injuries are bad enough as it is, but this is a guy that he had this injury previously, so different knee, but now it's both his knees have been torn ACL at one point or another, and this is just tough news for the Gators. So let's kick it over to Dan Mullen, who talked about that and who could potentially step up here.
You get your normal bumps and bruises. Got a couple. Robert Carlson is going to be out for the year with an ACL. Jaydon Hill tore his ACL. He'll be out for the year. So very unfortunate when you got to deal with injuries, guys, and it's really a tragedy. With the amount of work that these guys put in, how hard they put in. Both of them were non-contact injuries, and just kind of a shame that stuff happens out there on the field, but. Besides that, everybody else kind of, your normal bumps and bruises that guys,
Sorry to hear the news on Jaydon.
Yeah.
He was showing some signs last year. Where do you address that position? Who are you looking for?
Well, there'll be a bunch of guys. You're still in training camp, so there's just, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for guys coming in. We have We have Perkins transferred in, going to have an opportunity. You have, obviously Avery Helm, who's, I think going to be extremely talented. Might just have to accelerate his career to get him on the field. Ethan Pouncey coming off the surgeries is really kind of getting back to the player we thought he could be. So they're going to be some of those young guys that might just get a little more opportunity than they were expecting at this point.
All right, Shane. So, tough news there from Gainesville. When anytime one of your starters goes down, and I guess they got to be thankful that I know Mizzou fans aren't thankful, but Perkins that signed with Missouri, went through spring, and then transferred down to Gainesville. Now he's right there in line to potentially start in the secondary for the Gators. So at least Florida's got some talented options here. You know what?
And that's the thing. Unlike the last stop there in Knoxville, you have a stud go down. You do have somebody back behind them that could step in. Maybe not the same caliber, but not as big as a drop, not a big drop as some of these other programs. So that's what we're creating, competitive depth. And now that Dan's been down there a little while, he's got plenty of it. You hate hearing any injury, especially your studs, but that's the nature of this game.
Mm-hmm. And last thing from Dan Mullen here, everybody wants to know Emory Jones. How's he looking? How's he doing? Dan Mullen talks about Emory Jones, and then I keep touting it, man. Their defense is going to be much improved, and a big piece of that sophomore defensive lineman Dexter Gervon. Sounds like he's a monster now. They're down in Gainesville going into year 2, and it's pretty bad when your head coach is trying to pump the brakes on that kind of talk.
That we had. So, as you go through different things with him, I just think he's approached everything very well, but he's approached things great since he's been here. I think he's never been a guy, come in. He's always been a guy that's open, that's learning, willing to adapt, learn how to adjust to the role he's in, learn how to grow and continue to grow through different roles. And I think he's been able to do that, a really good job of that. And so I think, when you do that and you've seen how everybody approaches things and you approach things the right way, which he has through his whole career, I think, hey, this role, I know what to expect, and I'm expecting kind of maybe the additional scrutiny and pressures and everything coming into the season.
Again, I was just going to ask you about players raving about Gervon Dexter. I'm just curious, have you seen out there what they're talking about in terms of this guy going to be a beast this season and an unstoppable force inside?
I don't me, I don't go to those extremes maybe with compliments, right? But, the one thing to me that Gervon, that I like that I've grown, obviously we know he's got physical talents. I think, but, one of the things that you see is different is his maturity, of his understanding that, hey, I have these physical talents, but I also have to understand and play within the scheme. I have a job to do on every single play. I gotta complete my assignment. And my approach to how I come out and play, I think he's shown a great deal of maturity within it. And it's maturity, and that leads into leadership. Maturity leads into his better preparation, and maturity and understanding of, hey, I'm not just this big guy running out here trying to make plays. I'm out here trying to execute the defense. And I think that's what's really shown to me.
All right, Shane. So once again, Dan Mullen very high on his quarterback, and I just found it hilarious where I mean, there's very few coaches, but Dan Mullen, he's a unique guy, not wanting to build up one of his star players too much until they hit the field this fall. You know what?
Yeah, my wife gets on to me all the time about not complimenting her enough, I can relate, But it's rat poison, Mike, and we can't let these boys know how good they are.
Yeah.
You haven't made it. That's the thing. You haven't made it. We haven't even started the season. At the end of the year, we're holding up a national championship trophy. Then we can talk about how good you are.
Gotcha.